Hello, champions, and welcome to the What's My Role podcast, episode 14. We're a group of adventurers exploring the many realms of World of Warcraft and MMOs, sharing our experiences, learning our roles together, and embracing the chaos. I'm Bean, joined today by Golden.
Howdy.
Donnix.
Hey.
And GT Goat.
You know it's me.
And today we're going to talk a bit about some of the recent Season 4 news that's been coming out, as well as getting into the hottest debate in the WoW community, which is Asmongold's plan on how to fix WoW. So I'm assuming you guys have seen a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Yep. I got the cliff notes on it.
Yeah.
All right.
I've watched some reaction videos to it as well. Other people who do WoW content, basically talking about his take and breaking it down. So
yeah, it's been all over WoW YouTube with like Nixium and Zaryu and Liquid Max and the Potty C with Dratnos and Dorky, and just kind of everybody's been up in arms about what Asmon has to say. Well, yeah, some people agree. Some people are like, ah.
This guy.
So yeah, I mean, he gave his take. Everyone else reacted to it. Then he reacted to everyone else reacting to his take, saying, I think his video was like, "I was right about WoW."
Yeah.
So that's been just kind of hilarious. But I guess first we'll kind of get into the Season 4 news. Before that, there's a couple quick things which I'm not even going to go completely over. There's like the April trading post. Not too impressed with it personally, other than the Dreadwake mount, which is kind of cool. But there's a shark hat.
Well, isn't there like a war turtle mount also?
Oh yeah, that was probably that, and the pirate ship Dreadwake mount were both pretty cool. Everything else was kind of not too exciting in my opinion. There's a giant pet sale, so if you like spending money on pets, go for it.
Or just spending money.
If you like spending money, just do it.
Just do
that's
it.
right.
Gift it to somebody.
Yeah, there you go. Season of Discovery Phase 3 goes live April 4th. We're more into retail stuff, though, so... But for everyone that's enjoying that, go for it. The other thing before we get into the specific Season 4 stuff was Holly Longdale. She had made a statement alluding to some more experimental things coming, but more on the PvE side and not so much like the Plunderstorm thing. So what exactly did she say? It's been great seeing so many players taking the plunge into Plunderstorm. Blah, blah, blah. Dragonflight Season 4 is en route as testing begins on the PTR, and we'll have more news to share soon on the next experiment we have up our sleeves. We hope those of you who are looking for PvE-focused content will enjoy what we're planning. So, I don't know. Is this going to be more pirate stuff, or is this to do with the time-running pandemonium thing? Or do you think it's like something else completely different?
I'm hoping it's something completely different. I don't know what, but it'd be really cool to like have something besides Plunderstorm. I almost called it Blunderstorm.
Unironically.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, well, I've been thinking about a lot what you said about like leveling through delves. I thought that was like a really cool idea, which I didn't really comment on it too much while we were in the throes of the discussion, but that specifically sounded like a pretty cool idea where you could be leveling doing something different, like not just go time walk through this expansion and you'll eventually get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dragonflight Season 4 on Wowhead, there's a real big page here, and it kind of goes over what we've got coming with this, I think they're calling it the Awakened Season, which is basically the same thing at the end of Shadowlands. They had a Fated Season where they kind of have a last hurrah for all the stuff from that expansion.
Right.
Yep.
So in addition, what's up?
Oh, I was going to talk about that, Slimy Cat or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, go ahead, man. Mr. Jigglesworth.
Jigglesworth.
Tell us about it. Go.
There we go.
Oh, so the slippery cat, slimy cat, wherever it is, they're bringing it back so you can actually get it again.
How does
I
it
don't know
make you feel?
I didn't even know it existed till like a week ago. So
And now your whole world's changed, right?
exactly, I've actually been tempted to
That's it.
figure out how to get that now.
It is pretty cool looking. It's what is it called? Senior Jigglesworth? Something like that?
I'm not sure.
It's like a jelly
Yeah, it's a
saber tooth
Yeah.
mount. So it's kind of cool. It looks a little silly, but
So I haven't
I
looked
have
into the
not
details
seen
of
that
figuring
yet.
out how to get it, but
yeah, just type in like SR Jigglesworth.
that's one thing to like actually like
Jigglesworth.
seeing it on the news feed that they're actually bringing it back.
You might
sounds
find
all
something
sorts
you're
of
not
wrong.
looking for.
Oh,
Yeah. Make sure safe search is on.
What's the name of the mount?
Sorry,
Something Jigglesworth, I guess. I'll find it. I have to find the article
There
again.
it is. It's
If you find it,
yeah, it's Jigglesworth. Sir Jigglesworth.
yeah, it's. Oh Jesus! It's gonna blow my eardrums out.
Or yeah, Jigglesworth Senior. Sorry.
Jigglesworth Senior.
Mm-hmm.
What an amazing mount! It does look pretty cool though.
And one thing I'll
Yeah.
say is like I didn't even know it existed until I saw it on the news feed. They're actually bringing it back.
That does not surprise me.
I
Yeah,
forgot about that one.
I didn't know about it.
Oh, speaking of mounts,
Hmm.
last
happened?
night we started the quest line to get renowned with the oracles in Northrend to get a chance to get the green proto drake.
Oh, I have no clue
It's,
how to get that.
Yeah.
It's an old school faction grind. I mean, we're gonna have to do dailies and all that stupid crap a little bit.
Oh,
Well, shit, bring us along for the ride, fuckers.
Well, we got on last night. Nobody else.
Someone
is
had to
on.
go to bed.
Well, it was
Yeah.
past midnight. What do you want from us?
What a child.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. How selfish are we, Go? We
I
don't want to
know.
stay up past
I mean,
midnight.
I got
to
off
play.
10 minutes after you got off.
Yeah. Yeah, you messaged. It was like
No.
past midnight already.
Goat
Like, you
was
guys
worse.
still on?
Goat was worse. He was even still on when I asked the question. Nope, hopping off.
Oh, no.
No, I
I'm
hopped
not
off,
playing it.
saw the message, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I hopped back on there for like 10 more minutes, and then nobody showed up. I was like, "Guess not," and then left.
I appreciate you showing us the leniency that we show you.
Yes.
Yeah.
10 minutes. All right.
Oh, well,
I've done my due diligence.
I tried. Pinkies up, boys.
Okay. So we can all try and get into that. That'd be cool. We could do a video on it or something. Dungeon progression update. We already covered that. But what else is there? Mythic Plus system. Yeah, we know that. We know the dungeon pool.
Yep.
The affixes. The affixes are going to stay the same. Season rewards. There's like a title, like the Draconic. There's the Infinite Armor Dawn. There's portals you can get. The raids awaken. Okay, so the raids are going to be on I think it's at a bi-weekly rotation, right? So it's
Something
going
like
to be
that.
2 weeks of Vault of the Incarnate, then 2 weeks of Aberrus, and then 2 weeks of Emergicil. So it really sucks that we don't have 10 people yet. Otherwise, we could at least get into the normal raid where
that would be awesome.
yeah.
it's not so like crazy and hectic as LFR, which is still fun in its own way. But if we could just get 10 people going, that would be awesome. But the drops from Raid Finder will be 480 to 489 from Raid Finder.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing some. We're gonna be doing some LFR and some LFG, probably running some lower difficulty just to get a chance at the better island.
Yeah,
Yeah. They jacked the item level up on everything.
yeah,
Mhm.
quite a bit. So we'll get the higher level gear. There's these things called antique bronze bullions, which you will be able to earn. I don't think they've confirmed exactly how you do them, but I'm assuming it's through doing the different raids. And you can spend these bullions on basically raid gear that you want that didn't drop. So whether you want it for a specific piece or if you just want like an appearance, you'll be able to spend these bullions. So that's pretty cool. You can spend 3 of these bullions to get Jigglesworth. So you got a goal. Go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Get
I
yourself
got
3
one now.
bullions.
I done talked it up. I got to do it now.
Yep. So that's your goal for the season, apparently.
For this season.
I don't know how long it's going to take. Can only hope it's fast.
I would assume it is.
There's also like the Voyaging Wilderling mount, which it's kind of whatever to me. That's if you complete all 3 awakened raids on normal or higher difficulty during season 4. Kind of like a neon wolf dragon type deal. Yeah, there's titles, there's portals, there's a bunch of achievements. So that's kind of what's going to happen with season 4 and the raids, since we kind of already knew what was going on with the dungeons. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean,
that's 10 player, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we want to do like normal and heroic is 10 player, right? And then I think mythic is only 20 players.
Is it?
I thought they flex raid mythic also.
I think that they used to, but from what I've seen people talking, I don't think they do 10-man mythic anymore. I think it's strictly 20 at this point in time.
I think it would be good if we could get to that point, but I don't know. I think playing the way that we're doing and hopefully getting more people involved or playing with us, and that's going to take time.
Yeah, it's definitely a process because we're still pretty new to it all, really. We are making progress, but we'll get there.
Yeah, speaking of new, last night I did PvP for the first time.
Oh yeah,
got my ass handed to me.
Yeah. Well, I've been playing. Well, I guess we can talk about our kind of week in WoW real quick before we get into the whole Asmon stuff.
Yeah.
But I've been playing mostly BGs all week and kind of slowly gearing up my PvP gear. And it's actually been a lot of fun. I would say I've probably won about... It's kind of 50-50 whether I win or lose. And it really depends on the teams. And sometimes it's just really bad, and then sometimes it's a good little fight. But it's been a lot of fun, and I really want to kind of get everybody into it all together, and I think it'd be a really good time if we can all slowly get geared up on that as well. I know we're definitely focusing more on the mythic stuff, but I think the PvP has been really enjoyable, personally.
I will say one thing I've noticed. If you have 4 badass motherfuckers, you could run that PvP.
Yes.
Each session. You only need 4.
Really strong core group.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If
group,
there's a group within the team that actually sticks together, you can like make a really big dent. Because a lot of it's just kind of madness.
I feel like just like any other multiplayer PvP game, if you have a group of people who are in a actual chat together versus playing with a bunch of randos, like you usually stand a better chance.
Yeah. Because there were some games where for sure that's what I ran into. There's just like 3 dudes sticking to each other like glue, and I couldn't do shit to them.
Yeah.
And Goat only played 2 rounds with me last night, and I had won one just before I played with him, and it was a really fun one. And then it was just 2 really horrible ones. And of course, it would be the ones that he joins. It wasn't even your fault because he wasn't even like at the bottom of the board or anything. There's always like
pattern here. Yeah.
There's always some people in these BGs that somehow do almost 0 damage, and I really don't know how it could be like that bad. Like maybe they're just there for like a quest, or they just want to get their marks of honor, or and hoping that their team wins for
panic, like getting stressed out because of how like PvP is not the same as beating on an NPC.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
So I think for a lot of people, it's panic and then like, oh crap. Like, especially if you have zero experience in it, you get
Yeah.
overwhelmed really easily if someone just literally comes and wrecks you, you know?
Yeah. And then if you have like kind of an initial bad experience, you're probably not going to want to keep doing it, and you're not going to want to get better at it, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily it was a bad experience for me. It was like I could see what was going on. There was not a damn thing I could do about it. As soon as I got feared, yeah, I'm gonna die.
Oh yeah.
Just hit them slappy hands.
There's
let
this
'em
one
go.
group that just was stun locking me, and I don't have my trinkets yet, which I know that there's one that I think can break me out of that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, one dude would stun me, they'd whoop on me. As soon as I got out of that stun, the second guy in the group would stun me. It's bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun. I'm looking forward to doing more PvP.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. And then other than that, I did win a round of Plunder Storm. And I have played it a little bit more. They've upped the renown. It's still not something I want to spend all my time doing. I'm not gonna lie. But I did have fun that round that I won. I think I ended up with I think I got like nine kills or something like that. So it was pretty fun getting to the end there and pulling it off.
How much renown did you get from a win? Was it like the same amount?
It was. I think it's equal to the amount of plunder you get. So
if you win,
it was
you
like
don't collect a
2,000.
bunch.
It was enough to get a whole level of renown from that win. But it's all about as soon as you land, you just want to level up really fast and get some abilities, and then you have a huge advantage on people that don't. Besides that, that's about my week. Did anybody else play? I know you guys mentioned you started doing that. How'd that go?
Well, oh gosh. Well, we'll save you a lot of heartache.
Yeah.
That's for sure. We were following the guides online, of course, to try and find out where we had to start the quest line that gets you to actually be able to start gaining rep and get the daily quest with the Oracle faction.
Right.
And we ended up just like, well, screw it. Like right where we landed, we're like, we'll just knock out these quests, and eventually it'll get us into the right quest line. And
Nope.
no, we ended up finding out this one quest, like right when you get there, it's right next to the flight path. You just need to start with that one, and I think we did like 8 quests.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
we completed a whole.
You guys like did a whole quest line.
Yeah.
Well, see, the problem is that we ended up passing it because we didn't know this had happened. You have to find the remains of this. I guess it's a cat, right?
Well, we have to kill the cat.
Yeah,
and then
well, right, but
bring
the
the
name of the
remains back.
quest is something called like the
Pitch.
remains of Pitch.
Yeah.
Well, you kill things so fast, and the quest being completed, we didn't see the NPCs start talking after we killed it, and that we were able to go up and click on them because it's such low level, there's no yellow exclamation mark above their head. So we literally went right past it, went and turned in that quest. It kept going.
You guys had your RP blinders on.
Yeah. So honestly, we're not that far into it.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finish one set of the quest, or one series of the
Faction.
quests.
Yeah.
And then we start the next one.
There's 2 factions, and you have to start with the one that's not the one that you need the rep for, of course.
Yeah.
And then
Is it mostly quest lines, or is there more to it than that?
it's a quest line, but then you also have once you complete the quest line, I think you're around honored. It said you'd be honored, right,
Yeah.
with the Oracle faction. Yeah. And then at that point, that's when you can start the dailies. I'm not sure exactly how much they reward as far as the rep. But once you get enough rep and you get exalted, then you can purchase from that faction vendor. I think it says mysterious egg or odd, or it turns into cracked egg.
I
But
think it's
basically,
mysterious egg.
yeah. So it has a chance to drop the green proto drake. So it's not a guarantee. There's other rewards that can come out of the egg. So you basically get your rep up high enough to where you can purchase those until you finally get the drake.
Yeah.
Is it expensive?
It's like 3 gold.
3 gold.
Oh wow, it's nothing.
Yeah.
All right, well, that don't sound too bad. Just
Sounds
do
like
a
somebody's
couple
going to get
quest
on the
lines.
first drop.
Yeah.
Like
It's
that
gonna be-
bag
Yeah.
from the Hearthstone.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You gotta keep bringing this shit up. You fuckers.
It was real easy, man.
Yeah, it was
I don't
real
know why
easy.
you had
Oh,
issues
That's what
with
your
it.
problem was.
Yeah. I just got a personal issue, I guess.
If it makes you feel any better, that's the only thing I got out of that event.
Me too.
Wow. It doesn't.
Well, when you get the best on the first try, what's the
Yeah.
point? Right?
Yeah, why even bother?
Ruins all the
Screw them
fun.
out. I'm here for the bag.
Yeah, you guys are gonna miss that little Hearthstone flying disc thing
Yeah,
when I'm stunting on you with it.
that's right.
That's what I tell myself.
You gotta see everybody in WoW
because they're jealous.
just slinging that thing out there. Yeah.
All right. Did you play it all besides last night? Go.
Mm,
Okay. No good
thought
book
about
mystery.
lying. I saw that.
I did. I
When
really
he
did.
thought about it, when he was already halfway through the word now.
I was like, I
Sounds
could
too
agree.
All right. You do need to try and get on at least once a week to maybe practice your rotation or something.
Yeah.
It's not something you'll have to do forever, but just for a little bit to kind of help you get your damage a little bit higher up there.
I've been thinking of moving some of my keys around, see if it helps that a little bit more.
Yeah. I have started leveling a Death Knight, and I'm going to level it in Frost so that I can learn that rotation so that I can try and help you out with it too.
Dude, you can have like one of every class.
Yep.
You're soon.
I know. Well, I think I'm
That's what
going
I'm
to be
shooting
done
for.
after the Death Knight, at least until I'm not.
Until you decide you want to have two of something so you don't have to change your spec.
Yeah, until I want to drop $60 like you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
It's called efficiency.
Okay. So that's everybody's week in WoW, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go ahead and get into the Asmongold stuff. So he really he puts out like 6 or 7 or 8 videos a day, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Because he just has these like really long streams where he talks and chats and reacts to things and he plays games. But he had one particular video where he was like, here's how you fix WoW. And it was actually really short. The video's long itself, but his main points were, there's only like 3 of them really. And the first one was reset everybody's spells and remake each class with 10 or less spells. Now he did, that's what he said in the initial video, but in some reactions, people were kind of getting it twisted. Nixium specifically thought it was about balance and that I think it really was only 10 that he wanted, but he clarified he meant rotational skills. Like, you shouldn't have to learn more than 10 abilities in a rotation is what he was getting at, because obviously a lot of these are really complicated rotations for some of these classes. So what did you guys think about that specific point?
I don't know, man. I'm comfortable. I guess I haven't sat here. Anytime I've realized there's a spell or something, some type of, I guess you could say utility that I'm realizing that I'm not using, I haven't gotten frustrated and been like, oh God, why do I have so many spells? But I can understand if that's somebody else's pain point. I just look at it and think about like, oh, I'd really like to make sure I'm including these into my rotation later. I don't know. I don't really feel or associate stress with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for me, I've progressively been adding to them because, like I said, I'm still learning the process of it. So I've been, playing around with adding with that little minion that I have that pops up. It helps me deal damage.
Oh yeah, the ghoul.
I've been starting to focus on make sure I hit him. So I'm actually more so adding to what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
I haven't run into that problem
simple
like Ryan
button
was saying.
push, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's like the thing with learning your rotation is you kind of focus in on the core concepts, and once you get those down, you start, sprinkling in, different utilities and extra you know, procs and things that can help out more. So you kind of get there over time. You don't start off but yeah, for someone new like you, it can be pretty overwhelming, right?
It was at first, yeah. Now I've got to the point now where it's like, oh, we'll try this. It doesn't do anything. Oh well.
What did you think about that point, Donnix?
I mean, I think that there's some classes that definitely their rotation is overcomplicated. I don't know if there's any that are like you're using more than 10 abilities, though. I mean, in your core rotation for any class, you're looking at maybe 6 or 7 at the most.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't think of, and of course I haven't played every class and I haven't played them at end level for sure, but I don't know of any that use more than 10 abilities. Like,
yeah,
if you're adding in your utility, like if he's talking about rotation, just rotation in general, and not talking about like the one-off utility or something that you need to use. Yeah, I can't think of any class that has.
I would assume that he's kind of talking about like the extra things that are getting thrown in, because I kind of, that's what I was kind of thinking myself too, is I haven't really learned a class where it really is like the core rotation is more than 10 buttons you're pushing.
Yeah.
But if you're like looking at any like individual situation where you kind of got to react accordingly, you might have to throw in something that you're not always using.
If you're considering everything and anything you would use for situations and including those in, I guess it depends on how you're defining rotation.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, I kind of understand the idea he's going for, where it shouldn't be like you shouldn't have to like read a book to learn how to play a class.
I mean, honestly, how many buttons did Lost Ark have?
4?
I want to say 10.
5.
Was it only 5?
Yeah, it wasn't
might
that
have been.
much.
And the advantage with that, honestly, is because a lot of WoW is don't stand in the shit, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be really, especially if you're learning your rotation or learning all of you to use all of your abilities. You are basically dedicating so much to focusing on that. It can be difficult, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, so I think Lost Ark did a good balance with less skills.
Less button
I think
bloat.
that made the rotation like smoother once you got it down. And you still, I think there were still like some situational stuff. But that lets you focus more on your dodging and things like that. So I could see it as a positive. Like maybe it'd be easier to pay attention to your interrupts and dodges and things like that.
Wasn't Lost Ark 4 abilities and then like your main, like your ultimate ability or whatever for your class?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
It's
like,
been a while.
Even though it was less buttons, it still felt like I was doing a lot when I was doing my support class in there. Like every second I was like, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta go do this. But it doesn't really feel like it was more or less complicated than like a WoW rotation, really.
And I think what hangs up a lot of rotations is the procs and the RNG on those procs. That's when rotations can get pretty messy when you're trying to weave in procs and stuff like that. But for the most part, anything else, it's 5 or 6 offensive skills that you're weaving.
Right. Overall, though, like, would you guys say that you think there is too much button bloat, or that it is fine? Like, if you had to like be black and white about it, like,
I think it's fine, honestly.
I think if I would like WoW to be not as complicated for people who come over to WoW and haven't played it. So I think personally I'd have to say, for the betterment of maybe keeping newer players that don't feel overwhelmed, it would be overall probably better.
Better for the game and...
Yeah, better for the game, less stressful for people who've never played WoW to come in and not see all of the buttons.
Yeah.
You know?
It's hard to say that too, because I do like, part of why I like WoW's combat is kind of the complexity of learning it and feeling comfortable with it, and like I'm like actually having to learn and do this skill like naturally.
Yeah,
where
it's a challenge, right?
Yeah. But I don't want it to, like you're saying, I don't want it to be so hard that people are turned away from the game. They're like, take one look at the spell book and like, no, I'm not gonna rate this shit.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of classes still have a lot of abilities that were. I mean, you gotta think there's a lot of abilities that are helpful during leveling, stuff like that. Or like when you're out adventuring, like I have the underwater breathing one, the Undying Breath. And
Yeah.
then, or like shamans have Walk on Water.
Yeah, I was about to say that
those,
actually.
like, yeah, those helpful utilities. But like we're also looking at this from like the aspect of a bunch of guys that do dungeons and nothing but dungeons. Like there's a lot of spells that are meant for stuff out in the open world. So
yeah,
for us,
and
it just doesn't matter. It is just a bunch of extra buttons, but
yeah, and that's the thing. Like you can't really say anybody's kind of perspective is exactly wrong, because there's so many different ways to play WoW and so many different potential activities. Like some people just play the markets and some people just do pet battles, and so, but yeah, I mean, I feel like as long as it's not like a hard cap where you're like 10 abilities, that's it. And I don't want it to be oversimplified, but I don't want it to be over, button bloated as well.
I guess there would have to be some kind of line between, are we talking about just play as in like killing something, a rotation for killing something, or the helpful abilities that you have outside of combat as well.
Right. But yeah.
And I think another thing would be like, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, you can see how a certain comp of players or having one particular class is like really good for like this one dungeon because of something that they have. Right. And so it can feel very punishing to not have that, in your group, but it can make such a drastic difference.
Yes.
I don't
sort
know.
of like
Sometimes
your Demon Hunter
really,
with all your like silences and stuff.
That was a benefit
interrupts.
to us.
Or
That was
like
a huge benefit
if
to
we
us.
didn't have a class that had heroism.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like stuff like that, because you can balance out like with CCs any of these dungeons if you have a decent kick rotation between the people on your team, that you can get through it. Sure, other classes might make it easier, but yeah, there's just, I don't know. Like sometimes it sucks. I don't know. With like trying to pick a healer based on like our comp, that can change things drastically too. So it's like, crap, like I'm not doing as much damage as if I was playing a healer who,
like a disc priest or something.
Right, where doing damage is throughout that rotation. Where my damage abilities, only if I cast a spell that takes like 25% of my damage and healing done and heals you guys. Other than that, my damage doesn't heal you guys. So, you know what I mean? It's time that I'm spending not.
And then you really kind of just got to judge the situation, whether you should be bothering to heal or do damage at any point.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, overall, less button bloat, I think, is a good thing, but I just don't want it overdone. And I think we can all agree on that that idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and his second point was remove all raiding difficulties except for 40-man raids and make 40-man raids about as challenging as Ulduar hard mode. Now, Donnix or Golden, do you guys know how hard Ulduar hard mode was? Because I have no clue.
Well, that's a very subjective thing to say as well. To say as hard as for who, right? So a Mythic 10 or Mythic 12 that we just passed, and we're like, holy crap, man, we had to work to get through that.
Yeah,
and get that plus 2.
that was hard
To
for
somebody
us.
else,
Yeah.
to somebody
That might
else,
be
that might
like
be
child's play.
Yeah, or the
What-
exact opposite, and impossible for them at their current time or something.
Well, I think his thing was that it's just going to be one difficulty. So I'm assuming that, it's not going to be like the mythic rating difficulty. It's going to be kind of middle
Right.
of the line.
What was
Is
his
what he's
argument
saying.
for adding 40 man though, or bringing
I
back
don't know.
40 man?
I really don't like that idea specifically. Only 40-man raids. I feel like I would just never ever get to raid. I think for him, this is just kind of what he did and what he remembers as being epic, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna shit on him for what he likes, but I think he's kind of just. And I'm not saying he doesn't play the game. He doesn't play the game, which he doesn't play the game, but that doesn't mean his opinions not valid. I think
Right.
40-man raids is just way too many people, especially nowadays when it's so.
Yeah.
It is super easy to like communicate with people, but I feel like the general consensus is that a lot of people want to have a smaller group of people because it's just so much easier to put together 10 people than 40 people, right?
You can have
Yeah.
more what's the word, like instances of dungeons going on or raids going on at once versus imagine a queue time if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or trying to pull that together and that being the only way that you can,
Yeah, just think about how hard is it for us to schedule doing our fucking podcast. There's 5 of us. There's only
Yeah.
5 of us, and we're mostly all kind of dad gamers. We all have a lot of stuff going on in our lives, so having to multiply that to 40-man raids, I just feel like it just wouldn't happen. And if it did happen, it would be just as chaotic as like LFR, right? Where it's just madness. What kind of
100%.
organization would there be?
Well, and that was the thing, like, because I did do the 40-man raids, like from Classic back in Vanilla. It wasn't just trying to organize 40 people. It was the amount of time it took to organize 40 people. You would say, okay, we're raiding at 5, but you probably aren't going to raid till actually 6, maybe 6:30.
Yeah.
Because you got to get everybody there. Everybody's got to have their consumables. Everybody's got to, it was a mess.
The whole process, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, back then you had to run to the dungeon, which made it even worse, but trying to get 40 people to actually run to a dungeon entrance is insane.
Yeah. And then I know in some of his reactions to other people's reactions, he had kind of made the point where MMOs shouldn't be hard, he said. So that's why he doesn't think that there should be like this mythic tier of rating, which I don't completely agree with, because I know a lot of the enjoyment we get out of it is conquering stuff that is difficult for us.
Yeah.
So I don't want to steamroll shit. It's not fun when you're just blasting through things or getting carried through stuff. I feel like that sucks. So
tell me about it.
Well, not just that, but like, okay, so if they have one tier of difficulty after you cleared the raid, then what do you do?
Yeah, he also addressed that. He was saying like, once you beat the raid boss, it should just be done. You beat the raid boss, you did it.
Cool. Then what are you gonna do until the next raid comes out?
Yeah, I don't know. You just stop playing. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So
the way that's set up now, it gives people progression, like to last through the content. If they just had one difficulty, then they're gonna complain that they need more content.
Yeah.
Or
especially like the raider only type people.
I think, and I don't know how much he's generalizing by saying make it easier. Do you say make it easy or make it easier?
Well, he said that MMO shouldn't be hard. That was the statement he had said.
Yeah. Again,
I mean, it's hard to like put together all of, because he says a lot of things in these videos, so I can't exactly quantify
Yeah.
it perfectly.
Is he joking? Because like, isn't his big thing about like doing the top content or at least it used to be?
I don't think he did a raid on Mythic out of Dragonflight, but it's not. I don't think
He
he
probably
really
got
does
carried
the
through
hardest content.
I would assume he just got carried through it
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
doesn't like dedicate the time. And when he does play now, he usually gets people are throwing gold at him and throwing
Yeah.
gear at him, and
any well-known Twitch WoW
Yeah,
player
so, I
getting
mean-
the same thing.
so he has his opinions, but he's also like very out
Yeah.
of touch with people like us, where
We're in
we're
the shit
lucky
every day.
to we would be happy just to get 10 men to start
Yeah.
doing normal raids.
100%. Yeah.
I would be very happy with that. So yeah, overall, I disagree with that one a lot. What about you, Goat? Because I know you had kind of said,
that's the one I disagreed with. Yeah, because like Donnix said, if you don't have a challenge, nobody's going to want to do it.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's fun to beat it on easy, but what do you do after that? Sit around, try to do some. I'll show you how to do it for $20.
So you start
Scenarios.
playing racing games.
Yeah,
Find
start playing racing
steering wheels.
games.
oh
Yeah,
God, don't get.
We're not
don't
gonna
get
go
'em
down that
started.
we're not going to go down that one tonight.
So
Where's your
And-
Where's your wheel? Is your wheel there?
Yeah, that's just where I didn't agree with them. 10 buttons, yeah, it's 50-50. Then like you're saying that one thing I found truthful was that, yes, it's an MMO, but you need to allow people to have more fun than what's actually there. So yeah, adding this extra hard levels in there for people to actually have a challenge to feel entertained.
Yeah, it really would feel like taking away something from the game if
Yeah.
they
Oh, yeah.
kind of did it at this point. Which
Been great. You
people
get
want
some
more
more-
stuff, not less.
Yeah, you get more upgraded gear. Yay, fun. That means I can push harder.
I think there is. I agree with you. Like I enjoy doing Mythic Plus. I'm not tired of doing these dungeons. But there is an argument for the never-ending, continuously increasing in difficulty. Like people had issues with like greater rifts in Diablo 3 and things like that. Like that's just
Mhm.
the end game. Is just. But there was the mechanics. Let's be real. Like the mechanics in Diablo 3, it's not. There's nothing to kick. There's nothing. You know what I mean?
No.
Like it doesn't work the same way. It's the intricacies and like the teamwork in Mythic Plus and in raiding. I think that is appealing for us.
Yeah, that specifically is what I kind of enjoy. Is we're all getting together and learning this content together, learning to work as a team. And I enjoy that it's progressively harder, but we do have a goal that we're working towards. So, once we hit that goal, if we feel like we still want to keep pushing just for clout or whatever, that's fine. But I would be happy to just hit what goals we do set for now.
No, agreed. Like I said, what we're doing now, I mean, I'm happy with it. I'm fine to the point where I basically know what I'm doing. Stay out of the shit. Whenever Ryan yells at me, do what he says.
It's very important, though.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
As long as we're not
And then-
playing that stupid sand.
Honestly, not standing in the shit, I would argue, is more
Yeah.
important than making sure that you have perfectly pulled off your rotation.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
It's way
you
more
staying
important.
alive is always going to be more helpful
Oh yeah.
than you doing as much damage as possible and then dying.
Well, as long as there's not a T-Rex or sand on the ground, I'm good.
Yeah, that fucking dinosaur, man.
Then you'll
I
like
hate that
season
they're dinosaurs.
4.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Nothing
I
but
feel like-
T-Rexes and sand at the same place.
I feel like no matter how many times we kill that T-Rex, someone is going to get chomped every time.
Yep.
I hate that damn dinosaur.
Okay. And then his third and final point was remove all add-ons, no exception. So who wants to start with that one? Because that one's
I'll-
pretty.
I'll start on that one. So I watched the Odyssey, right? And I think it got blown way out of, like, it's not what he meant. Like, clearly nobody cares about the add-ons that change your UI. Like, they
did kind of get caught up in that conversation where it's like, I don't think anybody really is arguing against that.
It was only one, but you could tell there's some dislike there. But, yeah, it's obviously about the ones that feel like they're a necessity for doing end game content, right? It's not like, about I want this font on my screen. No, that's not what the reason for Asmongold's comment, you know?
Yeah, because it's like a whole other layer of shit to learn for people that are new to the game, like Go, where remember how it was for you before we showed you a couple of these add-ons, right? Where you just don't know what the hell's going on. You don't know there's abilities you're supposed to be interrupting.
My bag's full. Let me sell everything in it.
You don't know what the hell's inside your bag, whether it's good or bad for you. There's
no tells for bosses when they cast certain abilities. It's just text on a screen with the bar, so you're expected to stop paying attention to all the stuff going on and then read the text on the screen that says this attack is coming.
Yeah.
So there's
add-ons are, in my opinion, needed at this point in WoW, just because the amount of shit you get thrown into.
Yeah.
When you're covered up with mobs, I'm like, you can't see what the hell is going on. You're just hitting buttons at that point. Incoming attack. Yeah, I need to back off now. I need to throw some shield or extra health on me or something. I have learned that. So we're good on that part.
I think the issue is there's definitely some quality of life things that they could just have in the game, right? So instead of everyone having to learn about a whole other mod function to do endgame, I think mods are good for people doing an alternative endgame in different games, right? Like if you play Skyrim, like it's fun to use the mods and screw around, but maybe the first time you play through, you don't like have that type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So imagine if you couldn't get through difficult content in any game without having add-ons. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And for the like really high-end players, it is kind of mandatory that they have a lot of this stuff to perform the way they do.
Agreed.
Only because sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but
my train of thought's already gone.
The only reason they perform the way that they do is because of the add-on.
Well, see, it's a like chicken and the egg type.
Yeah, it's a chicken and the egg type thing. If the add-ons didn't exist and min-maxing wasn't able to be displayed on the screen and the real numbers and see that stuff, you would have the argument of, well, they might get close, but they wouldn't really know 100% without just strict data,
Yeah. Because, I mean, it would be pretty hard for me to do my rotation with certain classes without, those weak auras that kind of highlight everything that you need to actually worry about there. And then there's just, so many add-ons where, obviously, none of us here are going to argue that us being able to customize our UIs is a bad thing or anything like that. But when you have add-ons that are, in PvP, where it's telling you exactly what every person is about to, what ability they're about to cast and this and that, it kind of gets where it's a little bit ridiculous. And then, especially in raids and mythic dungeons, I don't like having a ton of my whole screen to just be covered in numbers,
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I don't think
overall,
you commit things to memory as well either when you use tools like that basically do that work for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, if we were to jump into a pack of mobs in a Mythic Plus dungeon and not have the add-on of one of them's lit up a different color, so we know which one to target, would we wouldn't, if we turn that off, we just wouldn't know because we haven't had to commit that to memory.
Yeah, we would actually have to learn which mob is fucking us up right here. Which mob is casting something that is really not good for us, and we would have to actually learn the dungeons a lot more than we already kind of do.
We got the
So-
nameplates helped my ass out a shit ton.
Yeah,
Just having
and
nameplates
it's-
up.
Yeah, I mean they're great. It's
Did
like
he
I can
call
see
out
everything
any
that I have
specific
aggro on.
add-ons?
No.
No, he was just
Just
really
add-ons
against
in
the
general.
fact
Yeah.
that, you know,
He was just shaking a tree. That's all he was doing.
I always
Shake it a
see
little bit.
like somebody saying like, I just came back to WoW after not playing for 5 years or something, you know, along those lines. And then I thought about how many add-ons I was going to have to fiddle with, and I just changed my mind and went and played a different game or something like that. Because you
But-
kind of do got to do homework to get your shit set up how you want.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people do kind of enjoy that as well. So it's a tough sell.
But
really.
you also don't have to use them.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to download them. You don't have to use them. Like you don't. If someone's jumping in after a 5-year break, they can jump in without the add-ons. That all determines on what you want to do in the game. If you're trying to be at the highest performance of a mythic group or whatever, then yeah, you're gonna need add-ons. But if you just want to jump in and play, they're not mandatory.
No, I
I
agree.
think that they serve their purpose for what people are doing in the game.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, you didn't need 5 different add-ons to track a boss's phases and what they're going to do and their abilities, because they didn't have as many abilities.
Yeah, they didn't have
So-
5 phases to track.
Yeah, exactly. The game's changed. They haven't added that stuff to the base UI. So
Yeah, well, that's an interesting point, because I think I've seen people saying that Blizzard's design for these like raids and stuff is kind of changing based around that fact,
Yes.
to where they know people have these add-ons, so they're making shit like that much harder to do because they know people have the add-ons that will just make it easier for them.
Yeah.
And so how do you feel about that specifically?
Well, that goes back again that the only people are really pushing the add-ons are the ones who want to max out what they can do. They're wanting a challenge. They're wanting something to do.
Yeah,
Right.
I say give it to
Yeah.
them.
that's a fair point.
Then if you don't
I
want to do
think better
mythics,
telegraphing and less reliance. I think I don't know. It's kind of, I feel like it gets dicey when you can make arguments that an add-on can give you an overwhelmingly stronger chance
Advantage.
versus someone not using one, or having an advantage versus someone not using add-ons at all. Then I think it's a bit of an issue. I think if you want to customize your UI, fine. If you want something that tells you to stay out of stuff, I guess that's fine too. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you're standing in this. I mean, I don't know, but
Standing in a dookie.
it
I
does
always
just
stand in
seem it can feel mandatory because of the advantage that it gives you.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, I like add-ons. Some of them may be a little bit out of hand, but I wouldn't agree with the statement, remove
Yeah.
all add-ons with no exception.
Well, I
Ultimately.
mean, if you think of these add-ons, they're enhancing the information that's already there, right? So it's making the information either more noticeable, or like when you're using a Baganon or something like that, it's taking what's there and just improving it.
Yeah.
You don't have any add-ons that's just gonna like do your rotation for you, or as soon as you're standing shit, it just moves you out. Like, you still have to play the game.
Yeah. And I honestly think Blizzard should kind of just take a lot of these, like, obviously really good add-ons that everyone can benefit from and just kind of incorporate that into the game, like Golden was saying.
Something the game WoW add-ons have to stay unless WoW changes something drastically. So yes, I want add-ons to stay right now because WoW hasn't changed. Like
Yeah.
either you take it out and bosses' abilities are more easily telegraphed, like they are in a lot of Lost Ark. Boss abilities are
Oh, you know when
telegraphed
it's
really
what's
well.
going to happen.
You know when you know when it's coming.
Well,
There's a lot more things going on the screen to grab your attention that this is a special ability.
It almost seems like they would have to make WoW less competitive in order for add-ons to not matter.
Yeah.
Like that idea of progression, like the extreme progression. And
Like the
trying
whole
to-
mythic rating and
Yeah.
world first type stuff.
Yeah. Like those ones that's who they cater to, those add-ons. Those people that are pushing. If they didn't want to make it a competitive thing, then yeah, there wouldn't be a reason for it. But then you're going to run out of content.
Yeah, and then I know they really tuned down the mythic rating over time because they design these not knowing if they're even doable sometimes. I think I've seen some devs actually say that, like, they're moving so fast when they're developing that they're making this raid. They're like, well, we actually don't know if they can do this, so we're going to find out. But yeah,
that's one thing that's nice too, is that there was a challenge. I mean, somebody will eventually get it, but it's going to take a minute.
Yeah. And I'm all for not everyone gets a first place trophy.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
then what you've achieved nothing.
I'm
Right?
definitely not.
So when we get a 15, when we get 15s knocked out across the board and we can have that achievement and get that mount, like that's something nice worth pursuing and achieving. Versus everybody gets a mount.
Yeah, not everybody gets that. We've never gotten it before. We gonna get there though.
My happy level's like Mythic 8. Okay.
Okay, well, you better get out of your comfort zone, bro.
I didn't say I wasn't willing to get out of the
My-
comfort zone. I said that's
My
just where I
happy
like it.
level is until we hit 15 plus. So
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I'm always not happy.
Yeah, I'm not happy
Spaghetti
until we
upsetty
get
right
that.
now.
You are very depressed individuals.
I'm not happy unless you're miserable, goat.
That's right. That's right.
It was a good thing
Get
I
back in there and let me yell at you some more.
Tell me I'm saying shit, boss. Tell me.
That's right.
Oh my god.
Give me that motivation.
So this podcast went on way longer than I expected it to. But
yeah, dude.
that's the podcast, everybody. So I don't think we had any really new comments to go over. So leave some comments. Let us know what you think. I know it was pretty kind of a divisive thing with the whole Asmongold fixing WoW. So let us know what you guys think of it, or what you thought of everybody else's thoughts on it even. Like, comment, subscribe, help support the channel. Find us YouTube, TikTok, IG, Facebook. What's My Role or What's My Role MMO. We play on the Muradin realm on the Alliance side. If you want to apply to join the guild, it's the Mythic Mafia. You can hit us up in the comments or try and introduce yourself in the Discord. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you next time.